Welcome to News Edge, your sharpest source for daily headlines and deep dives. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay ahead of the curve. The news broke on a sweltering Florida morning, the kind where the air feels heavy with anticipation. Mar-a-Lago, usually a symbol of opulence and calm, was about to become the epicenter of a political storm. It didn't come through the usual channels. No carefully worded press release, no official statement from a podium. Instead, the world learned of it through a furious post on Truth Social, Trump's favored digital megaphone. From the gilded halls of Mar-a-Lago, Trump had just discovered that Ryanair, Europe's budget airline giant, had placed a staggering $30 billion order. But the shock wasn't the size of the deal, it was the recipient. The order was going not to America's own Boeing, but to China's up-and-coming aerospace contender, COMAC. The post that followed was classic Trump, blazing with all caps, exclamation points, and a tone that mixed outrage with a sense of deep national betrayal. His words ricocheted across social media, instantly setting the tone for the day's news cycle. He didn't hold back, calling the deal a catastrophic failure of American industry and a direct threat to national security. For Trump, this was more than a business loss. It was a blow to the very heart of American pride. In his view, this wasn't just about airplanes or contracts, it was about America's global prestige and power, both of which he saw slipping away with every deal lost to foreign competitors. The symbolism was impossible to ignore. Trump's outrage didn't stay confined to social media. It forced politicians and industry leaders to respond, igniting a fierce debate that quickly spread from corporate boardrooms to the halls of Congress and into the living rooms of everyday Americans. His words struck a nerve, tapping into real anxieties about America's competitive standing in a rapidly changing world. People wondered, if Boeing could lose out to a Chinese rival, what did that mean for the future of American innovation and jobs? Trump laid the blame squarely at the feet of Boeing's leadership, accusing them of mismanagement and allowing excessive government regulation to stifle progress. In his view, these failures had left the door wide open for China to step in and claim a victory that should have been America's. He argued that the Ryanair deal was more than just a lost sale, it was the ultimate symbol of American decline. Trump called for immediate tariffs on Chinese goods and demanded sweeping investigations into how such a deal could happen on America's watch. Beneath the fiery rhetoric, however, was a sobering reality. This wasn't just a business setback, it marked a seismic shift in the global aviation industry, signaling that China was no longer just a follower, but a formidable competitor on the world stage. Trump's explosive response ensured that Ryanair's decision would not fade quietly into the background. Instead, it became a potent political symbol, one that would fuel debates about trade, national security, and America's place in the world for months to come. At the heart of this firestorm is Ryanair's bold business move, a decision that's sending shockwaves through the global aviation industry. Known for its aggressive cost-cutting and relentless pursuit of efficiency, Ryanair has never shied away from controversy, but this time, the stakes are higher than ever. The airline has placed a massive order for 200 C919 jets from China's COMAC, a deal valued at an astonishing $30 billion. This isn't just a purchase, it's a landmark moment for China's aerospace industry, signaling its arrival as a serious contender on the world stage. For COMAC, this order is a validation of years of investment and ambition, and for Ryanair, it's a calculated leap into the future. But this move is about more than just acquiring new planes. It marks Ryanair's dramatic break from Boeing, the company it has relied on for decades. After years of loyalty, Ryanair is signaling that it's ready to chart a new course, one that could reshape the balance of power in the skies. CEO Michael O'Leary, long frustrated by Boeing's rising prices and repeated delivery delays, saw an opportunity he couldn't ignore. COMAC's offer was not only timely but also too attractive to pass up, promising both savings and certainty. The C919 comes at a significantly lower price than the 737 MAX, potentially saving Ryanair billions over the lifespan of the fleet. These savings could be reinvested into expanding routes, lowering fares, or boosting profits, giving Ryanair a crucial edge in the fiercely competitive budget airline market. Deliveries are set to begin in 2026, a timeline that Boeing simply couldn't guarantee. For an airline with ambitious growth plans, certainty is everything, and Ryanair is betting big that COMAC can deliver. Ryanair's expansion plans demand reliability and flexibility, This deal not only secures their future fleet but also gives them unprecedented leverage in negotiations with both Boeing and Airbus, potentially driving better deals across the board. The message to the industry is unmistakable. The long-standing duopoly of Boeing and Airbus is being challenged. There's a new player in town, and the rules of the game are changing. Of course, it's a calculated risk. Integrating a brand new aircraft type into Ryanair's operations will require investment in training, maintenance, and logistics. But if successful, the rewards could be transformative, setting a new standard for the industry. For Ryanair, this is more than just a fleet upgrade. It's a declaration of independence, a bold statement of intent, and a masterclass in strategic procurement that could redefine the future of low-cost aviation. Ryanair's decision to break away from Boeing didn't happen overnight. It was the culmination of a long, complicated relationship that had once seemed unbreakable. For decades, Ryanair and Boeing were almost synonymous, partners in growth, innovation, and the relentless pursuit of low-cost air travel. But beneath the surface, years of mounting frustration with Boeing were quietly building up. Ryanair's leadership grew increasingly exasperated as promises were broken and expectations fell short. Persistent production and delivery delays repeatedly derailed Ryanair's ambitious growth plans. Each missed deadline meant lost revenue, grounded planes, and disappointed passengers, putting Ryanair's reputation and bottom line at risk. Quality control issues, ranging from loose bolts to more serious manufacturing flaws, further eroded trust in Boeing's reliability. Safety inspections became more frequent, and every new defect uncovered added to Ryanair's anxiety about the future. Michael O'Leary, Ryanair's outspoken CEO, maintained a supportive public stance, but behind closed doors, he repeatedly warned Boeing about its slipping standards and the risk of losing a key customer. Negotiations over pricing became increasingly tense. Boeing refused to budge on costs, confident that Ryanair had no real alternatives. But as Comac, the Chinese aircraft manufacturer, entered the scene with competitive offers, the balance of power shifted. The partnership, once rock solid, began to fracture under the weight of repeated delays, ongoing quality concerns, and pricing standoffs that left both sides frustrated and unwilling to compromise. Ryanair's loyalty, which Boeing had long taken for granted, was finally pushed to its limit. The airline's leadership started seriously considering alternatives, determined not to let their future be dictated by a single supplier's struggles. The Boeing 737 had defined Ryanair's identity for decades, serving as the backbone of its fleet. But as the challenges mounted, Ryanair realized it could no longer allow its destiny to be held hostage by Boeing's ongoing issues. The move to Comac wasn't just a business transaction. It was a dramatic and symbolic break from the past, signaling Ryanair's willingness to embrace change and seek new opportunities. For Boeing, this was a wake-up call, a stark reminder that even the strongest partnerships can unravel. For Ryanair, it marked the beginning of a bold new chapter. In the end, the divorce was inevitable, shaped by years of tension and unmet expectations. Boeing's troubles run deeper than a single lost order. They're facing a crisis of confidence. The 737 MAX crashes exposed a culture that prioritized profit over safety, leading to a global grounding. Even after returning to service, Boeing was plagued by manufacturing defects and negative headlines. The FAA capped production, causing delivery delays that infuriated customers like Ryanair. Boeing can't build planes fast enough, weakening its negotiating power. Competitors like Airbus and now Comac are seizing the opportunity. The once unquestioned leader is now struggling to regain trust. Ryanair's $30 billion deal with Comac is a direct blow to the American economy. Thousands of Boeing workers and suppliers face uncertainty as years of stable work vanish. The loss ripples through a vast supply chain, from major suppliers to small specialized firms. For every Boeing job, several more are supported across the country. The deal signals that U.S. dominance in aviation is no longer guaranteed. Other airlines may now consider Chinese aircraft, threatening further erosion of market share. Fewer orders mean less capital for Boeing to invest in innovation and next-generation aircraft. The risk falling behind in the global race for aviation leadership. The stakes are higher than ever. The Comac C919 versus the Boeing 737 MAX is a classic challenger versus champion story. The 737 MAX is proven, with a global support network and decades of reliability. The C919, China's ambitious newcomer, matches the 737 on paper and uses many Western components. COMAC's key advantage: lower price and faster delivery, thanks to state backing. For Ryanair, these factors outweighed the risks of adopting a new aircraft type. But the C919 faces hurdles. It lacks FAA and EASA certification and has no long-term service record. Ryanair's order depends on the C919 passing rigorous European safety standards. It's a bet that the economics will trump the unknowns. The duopoly is officially challenged. Ryanair's deal sent shockwaves through Washington and the aviation industry. Lawmakers called for hearings and investigations, alarmed by the rise of Chinese competition. Boeing's leadership admitted failures and vowed to win back trust. Aviation unions blamed management for prioritizing profits over quality and demanded government action. The Department of Commerce and U.S. Trade Representative launched a review of Chinese subsidies. The FAA faces pressure to uphold strict certification standards for foreign aircraft. The industry now faces a new reality. China is a real competitor. The question is no longer if, but how America will respond. For American aviation to recover, Boeing must rebuild trust, starting on the factory floor. Quality and safety must become non-negotiable, with empowered engineers and a culture of accountability. Consistent on-time delivery is essential. Airlines can't plan around unreliable suppliers. Boeing must stabilize production, invest in its workforce, and simplify processes. Innovation is key. The market wants more than incremental updates. It wants the next leap forward. Heavy investment in R&D for safer, greener, and more efficient planes is critical. Government, industry, and labor must collaborate to support research, education, and infrastructure. Labor unions play a vital role in holding management accountable for quality. By working together, American aviation can recover and lead again. The path forward is clear, but it demands action, not just promises. The Ryanair deal isn't an obituary, it's a catalyst for a comeback. The blueprint returned to basics, make Made in America mean quality and reliability again. Competing with state-backed rivals requires bold innovation, a moonshot project for a revolutionary new aircraft. Deepen global partnerships, set high standards, and present a united Western front on safety and quality. Winning back customers means offering superior value over the aircraft's lifetime, not just a lower price. Provide unmatched support and reliability to keep fleets flying. The answer isn't protectionism, but building a better product. America's engineers and innovators are ready for the challenge.